am the Frugal Hugel gardener, and this morning I'm going to go ahead and set up irrigation for each one of my 24 pots, which I'm going to grow vegetables in. So if you're interested to see how I do it and what is the proper way to do it, I have a lot of experience with irrigation, and I'm going to show you how to set up your irrigation, drip irrigation, for potted plants. It could be for any kind of potted plants, on your porch, in the garden, wherever. Let's get rolling. Okay, so I went ahead and removed my drip irrigation pipe. And I put it in the center. And the first thing that I noticed is that all my tubes that are coming out for my emitters, well, they were set up for the way that I had it, and they're not set up for my pipes, which means they're all in the wrong spot. So to either pull these out, plug them, and put new holes in the proper place, or just go get another main half-inch tubing that I could go ahead and start all over. Guess what I'm gonna do? Yep, I'm gonna go get another fresh tube, which I got plenty of it, and I'm just gonna start all over. I can still pull out my emitters and stick them in the new one, but it would just be a mess to go ahead and mess with this, so let me get to it. Okay, so I went ahead and got myself a whole roll of tubing over here. I'm going to remove the old over here, keeping all the fittings, and then lay it out on the ground and start putting all of my emitters up over the bed. Now I'm going to do them up a little different this year, so I wish it was a little hotter because all this is stiff. So let me go ahead and get that done, and I'll be back to you. Okay, so the first thing I had to do was locate my pipe. Which was right there. Then I had to get an extended coupler right here so I could screw it into that end and screw it into this end, and then continue with the pipe to my new section. So I brought the pipe over this way, and what I had to do on this side was I had to put an elbow right here, an elbow to go all the way down that way. Now I just went ahead and tied this on with a piece of string around the pipe. That way it holds it flat against that and it doesn't move out, because I want this nice and snug like that. And that pipe goes all the way down the center to the end where I have an end cap. I'll show you that later. But for now, what I need to do is determine which emitters that I want to put into each pot. So I always bring this to sit on. It's dry and it's soft, and especially if you want to kneel on it. What I did is I got 1/4 inch tubing and I measured it so it goes up and into the bed. This is 1/4 inch. I put a 1/4 inch bob on it, which goes into the main 1/2 inch tube. I'm going to use a 0.5 gallons an hour. That's a 1/2 gallon an hour. You can use 1/2 gallon, 1 gallon, 1.5, 2, 2.5, you know, but 1/2 gallon is the lowest that I found. I wish I could have found 1/4 gallon, and then I would put one here and one there on each side of the plant, but this is what is available. So then you put a little spike in here that holds it. I like the type that clips in and has a top. It holds on and it doesn't come loose. And then you put this little end on it. It comes with this. and that keeps bugs from going on in and keeps it from getting clogged. So what you want to do now is you want to take yourself a pinching tool, and you want to take this end and you want to put it on the pipe, and you want to press down and pull out, and that leaves a little hole like that. Then you want to take the opposite side of the tool like this, and you want to pinch this down into that hole like that. So now you can see that's on there. Okay, so now we're back up on the top. So that's on the ground up against this planter. Now this, you just go ahead and you put it into the soil like that, wherever you want. And this is going to drip right there by the plant. If this was the plant right there, you want it to drip about 6 inches over. You don't want it to drip on the plant. If you make it drip on the plant or the seed, it'll get root rot. It'll be too wet. So you always want to put it about 6 inches away, so it'll wet the soil. When it goes down, it'll wick over to it. So that's basically how you do this. So the tube that's running along the ground, it's not hot out right now, so it's a little stiff, but when it's a little warmer out, I'm going to go ahead and put them right up against the pots, and hopefully they'll stay there. And to train them, I'll take a piece of rope like I did over there and put it around and hold it against, so when the weather bakes, it'll permanently be straight and up against that pipe. And the string, you can leave it or you can take it off, it doesn't matter. So with that said, let me go ahead and finish up. Okay, so you see me take that drip emitter, come up straight and over, and I put the 1/2 inch pipe up against the planter. Now on this side, I can't go straight up and over because this will be in my way. So I'm going to put this emitter along the floor, up and over. That way I can walk through here and this isn't like in my way. I'll show you that. Okay, so to do that, first thing is you want this pressed against the pot so you know the exact length. Now going all the way down, I went ahead and put string on it to hold it in, so when I'm working, it doesn't shift. Next, you're going to need your emitter heads, whatever you want for pots. I say 1/2 gallon an hour. You're going to need one of these little stakes. And you're going to need a little bar bend. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to bring it out straight to this over here. So I push this back that way to make sure it's all the way up. And now I'm going to come over here. And I'm going to, instead of punching it straight down to come up like that, I'm coming in sideways and I'm going to puncture it right there. So you could do it that way first if you want. And now you can come over here and just push it in the hole. Like that. Okay, so I have this in here, and you can run it along here and you can just have that go up like that. But then this has a tendency to come out. You can put a string around it, that would hold it in. Or you can get yourself a package of elbows like this. Now what the elbow does is you can have it come over like that straight and then go straight up. So let's go ahead and do this and see what it looks like. So I have that elbow like that, and now I want to go straight up. So I'll push it in this way, Okay, so that's on the ground, and this comes straight up, and I want it over. So let me just go ahead and take it right about there. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to put your drip emitter on, like so. And then you want to go ahead and push that in there and put it on permanent with this little cap on the end, like that. So now you can take this and turn it around and twist it, do what you got to do with it. And right over here you could put one too. So let's go ahead and do that. So now by having an elbow here, it's still a little bit awkward there. So if you want this to go straight up and over like that, you put this elbow right here. Like that, and now you can take this and put this on. Okay, so there you go. This on the ground goes straight over. I got an elbow goes straight up and another elbow and it goes over. And then you can have it dripping nice and neat right into the plant wherever you want it. When these hoses get hotter, you can flex them better. Right now they're stiff because it's cold, but you get the point. It comes straight out, elbow, elbow, right up and over. That one just goes up and over with no elbow. It just depends if you want to spend the money on getting a bunch of elbows or if you just want it to loop over. I just wanted to show you how you could do it like that. And on this side, you could have it one piece or flat and then flat up and over. I think what I'm going to do is the ones on this side, I'm just going to wrap them up and over. And the ones over here, I want it flat on the ground because I'm going to be walking through here. And then I want an elbow and an elbow to put it over like that. Now I have my stake. I have my half a gallon an hour drip tube. And I have the end over here. And this end right here is to prevent bugs and dirt from going in there. So you put that on. There you go. That's the setup right there. So in order to do your planter boxes, you run a 1/2 inch tube all the way down wherever your planter boxes are. And depending if you planter boxes in a row or they're jaggedy or S-shape, wherever you have them, then you could connect to the 1/2 inch with a 1/4 inch. You could use elbows, you could use T's, and you could just use one piece. A lot of different variables, so it's hard to say what would work for you. But for this setup all the way down over here, I'm doing it custom, and I want it so I could just walk through like this, and I can walk around them because I'm going to be doing things. I'm going to be working in each bed. I'm going to be fertilizing, and it's good to have the walk around room, and you don't want to be tripping over this. So okay, So I got a lot of work to do all the way down that way. I'm probably going to have to run to Home Depot and get a lot more of these. I'm going to check my little bin over here. Normally when I go to the store and pick up supplies, you'll notice I have a lot of drip heads and I have a lot of other parts that I used before. And I have other parts. When you go, buy extra, because you're never going to have enough. Now, on this piece over here that I removed, all of that tubing and all of the fittings on there are still usable. So I could go over there and pull them out and use them over here, but the size of the 1/4 inch is going to be a little bigger than I need. Okay, also last year I went ahead and made these up. What I did was, this is a dripping tube, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 emitters on that. Well, I used these like that. They weren't right like this in the center, and the plant went in the middle. Well, that was nice in the beginning because it put a lot of water around the plant. But then when the plant grew, I couldn't pull this out. And also that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gallons in an hour. Your plant don't need 5 gallons in an hour, so I'm not going to do this no more. They should make it where these have like a 1/4 gallon an hour, so you can have 1 gallon an hour going in, but they don't make them like that. So I'm not going to use it this way. Okay, I'm going to put 1/2 gallon an hour drip head in the center, and that's all you really need is 1/2 gallon in an hour in a pot. You could go 1 gallon in an hour if you want, especially when you have a big pot like that. I may even revert to that, but if I did, what I would do is this. Okay, I would do the same thing I do with my watermelons. I would have a 0.5 here and a 0.5 here, so it drips 1 gallon. And this is on one side of the plant, and that's on the other side of the plant. But I'm going to start out with 1/2 gallon an hour, and if I needed it, I would do this right here. You just put a T and then another drip head, and you got 2 drip heads like that. Now for my watermelons, this is 2.5 gallons, that's 2.5 gallons. It goes on each side of the watermelon vine, and it drips 5 gallons an hour. Of course, you don't need that for a pot. So since I have 1/2 gallon an hour, I could always pull off that head and put in 1 gallon an hour, but the water goes down in one spot. So I would tee it off and have 1/2 gallon and 1/2 gallon for 1 gallon an hour. So anyway, since it's all custom, you could do whatever you want. You're the creator. But I'm going to start out like that, because all you got to do is put a T, connect it right to the top, so there's no more work. It's just, why go 1 gallon an hour when 1/2 might do it? Later on, you could always add it. So let me get to work. Okay, so I finally finished. Got all my emitter heads and tubing all laid out. Still a little chilly out, so we need a hot day so the cables could flex and lay down a little flatter. But for right now, this is what it looks like. Okay, so you'll notice I got them to where they come up and over with elbows. So that way, when I walk down the center, there's a walkway. See, it goes from there over, elbows up, elbows in. And I went ahead and elbowed those in, so everything lays down flat. Some of the ones that are up is because they come rolled up. When the heat hits it, they'll lay down flat. This one right over here is really kinked, but that's going to lay down flat after it all heats up. Same with this one. Okay, so relatively, there you go. There's an overhead view of it. And this is what it looks like just walking down the side of it. So I got all the emitters all hooked up, ready to turn on the water and let the irrigation go, wet the beds. Then I can come out here in a day or two and sow some seeds. I gotta check the weather out, make sure there's not a cold snap coming between now and April. Now at the ends, what you want to do, a couple ways you could do it. I used it where it folds over and there's this little double sleeve that it goes in, it kinks it and no water comes out, or you can have a screw on. Put a screw on if you're going to continue it, but this way if you're just going to lay it down. Okay, so anyway, I've been at it all morning. I need to go in and have some breakfast. I'm done out here for the day basically. I'm still going to go ahead and walk around and do a couple things. But I hope you enjoyed. That's how you go ahead and you lay out and you install your drip irrigation for potted plants. Talk to you later.